Welcome to Takaro, the podcast where we break down the news of today for you. And we're starting today off a little differently. Deepkanya and I thought of giving each other names to describe who we are.
That's right.
So I am Curious Kiran because I love thinking about and asking many questions about everything.
And I am Discoverer Devkanya. That's because I just love discovering all the little details of every story and describing what's happening in the world around us. We're going to start off today's episode. We are going to be talking about what's been happening in Bangladesh. Kiran, did you hear about Bangladesh's Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina?
Yeah, I did. And all the trouble that's going on in Bangladesh. In fact, she actually had to run away from Bangladesh, get into a helicopter, and seek shelter in India.
That's right. She didn't have any time to bring any of her personal things with her, all her extra clothes, all her personal belongings. Now, while this is all very sudden and it's just happened, it's not the first time that a head of state or government of a country has been forced to, run away from their country. Let's start today with a quiz. Ready?
Of course, always.
Kiran, which of the following heads of state were forced to go into exile? Exile basically means, it's just a fancy way of saying they had to run away because of political reasons. I'm going to give you 4 options, as always. Option 1, the president of Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro. The president of Sri Lanka, Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Option 3, president of Pakistan, Pervez Musharraf. Option 4, the president of Afghanistan, Ashraf Ghani. What's the answer?
I would say it is option number 2, President of Sri Lanka, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, and also fairly recently, I think.
Well, it is correct, but the answer that you've given is actually wrong because it's all 4 of them.
Oh, but it was right. You just asked for one, and I gave you one.
I said, which
Yeah.
of the following? Listen to the questions carefully next time.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's all
no.
4 of them who had to go into exile, right? And it's interesting to note Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Afghanistan, all countries very close to India, right? And now Bangladesh, of course. So, just like all these other leaders, Sheikh Hasina also had to get out of her country very quickly because her family and her supporters believed her life was in danger.
Curious Kiran wonders,
Yes.
why did she have to go into exile?
There were a lot of things that were going on in Bangladesh, and a lot of people believe that Sheikh Hasina was something of an autocratic leader, which basically just means a leader who wants all the power for himself or herself. And, they make a lot of decisions on their own without checking or caring about what the people of their country want.
And so this triggered an uprising where the government decided that they wanted to keep a certain number of government jobs aside for people who were loyal to Sheikh Hasina's political party called the Awami League. Right? This would mean that only if you or your parents or your grandparents had been supporters or worked for the Awami League, you would have been given preference for that government job, which is fairly unfair.
That's what a lot of students started protesting exactly for that reason. It started out as peaceful protests. They said it was unfair. They said people should be getting these government jobs, which are highly coveted jobs, right? Because there are lots of benefits to getting these jobs with the government. And they said they should be on merit because they deserved it and not because of their political beliefs.
And as often happens, many of these protests started becoming violent, right? There were security forces and police who started trying to stop the students from protesting, and they were using really heavy equipment. So things like tear gas, for example, right?
Yeah.
Tear gas, which is a gas that gets into your eyes and throat and starts irritating you, makes it itchy, makes you cough, makes it impossible to do anything.
Yeah, it hurts a lot too.
Yeah, it hurts a lot as well. And they even started shooting rubber bullets, is what has come out in the news, right? Things got so out of hand that unfortunately some people even died because of all of this violence.
And while Sheikh Hasina, being the prime minister, she tried to calm people down. She, spoke to many of them. The Supreme Court in Bangladesh also said that we will not reserve these government jobs like we planned to. They rolled it back and they said people will now get them on merit. But I think it was maybe too little too late too many people had died or
Yeah.
got hurt or been arrested, and now they were again out on the streets demanding justice and also an apology from Hasina.
Yeah, but instead, what Sheikh Hasina did was she actually insisted that these riots and the violence was being carried out by terrorists and
Hmm.
people who were from the opposition party or political parties and not actual students, which was, again, something that just irked the people, right?
Yeah, they demanded that, we don't want an apology anymore. We want you to resign. In fact, things got so bad that eventually she did have to resign, as we mentioned right at the top, and she had to ask for permission to come to India and get away from Bangladesh as soon as possible. Now, these clashes have been so bad that almost 300 people have died, both students and
Wow.
security forces as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's totally terrible. But have things come back to normal?
Now that she's left, no, sadly. After she left, the military took control, but the situation was still quite bad because people started burning and destroying offices, shops, and homes of all those people who had supported Sheikh Hasina and her party, which is the Awami League, right? Many people were forced to stay inside their homes, lock themselves up because, things were so unpredictable on the ground.
Yeah, and I think everyone's been looking for a solution and a sort of change in government, right? So the
Yeah.
students, the military, and Bangladesh's president, all of them basically got together and asked Mohammad Yunus, who is a Nobel Prize winner, to come in and become that new interim leader for the country. Interim leader, which is, temporary till they find someone else, till elections can happen and people can vote and find someone else.
Mohammad Yunus is actually a very popular person in Bangladesh. He is Bangladesh's
Hmm.
only Nobel Prize winner. He won
Wow.
it for peace because he figured out a way to give microcredit. Microcredit basically means small loans to people who don't have much money. This has basically helped lift millions of people out of poverty, especially in Bangladesh.
And in fact, the Grameen Bank, which he set up, is kind of looked at as a case study across the globe for how you can use the power of groups of people to help uplift all of them within the group, right? And he's been pretty much congratulated by every single leader in the world. The Nobel Prize is one of the biggest ever awards given to people because they've done something really amazing to help the world, and very very few people actually get it every year, right? There are probably six different types of Nobel Prizes. Do you know all of them?
Yes, I know there are six different types of Nobel Prizes, and I can name all of them. Should I start?
Let's go. Yeah.
Okay, so there's one, the Nobel Prize for Physics, then there's one for Chemistry, there's one for Medicine, there's Literature, there's Economics, and the Nobel Peace Prize as well.
Oh, good job, Debbie. Amazing.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes, that was also fairly descriptive. So maybe we should think about changing your name to Descriptive Devkanya. Or should it stay as Discoverer Devkanya?
I like Discoverer, but I can have people vote and let us know what they feel is more accurate.
Excellent. Let's do that. Anyway, coming back to Mohammad Yunus, he agreed and he came back to Bangladesh. He was actually at the Olympics and he flew back to Bangladesh and formed an interim government and became its chief advisor. He has asked people to stop fighting and attacking each other, obviously, and to let Bangladesh return to peace. It is going to take some time. He has asked for that time to really recover and help the country go back.
Also, what is really interesting about this interim government that it's actually formed of a lot of people from different walks of life. So there are like academics, professors, activists, and there are also two students who were part of this agitation that took place in Bangladesh. They're 26-year-olds who've been, given different posts within this interim government. So they're going to actually have to learn how to run a country really, really fast.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot more to the story and history of Bangladesh. So, what I really want each one of you to do is go and research what the history of Bangladesh is. Was it a independent country? Was it a part of another country? The history of Bangladesh is actually very interesting. It was part of British India a long, long time ago. So, it's always smart to know what is happening around you and the countries around you. It's actually quite fascinating.
And we will end today's episode with one last question. It's my turn again. What was Bangladesh called before it became Bangladesh? Four options. Option 1, East Pakistan. Option 2, Bengal. Option 3, West Pakistan. Option 4, Bengaland.
I love Bengaland. Whoever wants to vote with me, I think we should vote for Bengaland. But I think the answer, if we are being serious, is East Pakistan.
Absolutely correct. Bangladesh was part of Bengal, which was one of the options I gave you, but that was long, long
Mm-hmm.
ago. And then in 1947, when India gained independence from British rule, it was divided into two separate countries, which is India today and Pakistan. And Pakistan was created as a separate nation with two parts again. One was West Pakistan, which is today known as just Pakistan, and East Pakistan, which is now known as Bangladesh.
That's amazing. As I said, everyone who's listening, go and do some research on the history of Bangladesh and how the Indian subcontinent was before independence, during the British rule. It is extremely fascinating, and maybe we can also do an episode on that at some point.
We would love to talk about it some more if you'd like us to. So do let us know if you have any ideas, any thoughts, any questions, or even comments about this episode. Just head on over to www.takarokids.com and become a part of our growing community.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Have a safe week. Bye.